And we're live. Welcome to the Alien Invasion number 223, recorded on Thursday, June 29th, 2017. I'm Dave Nelson, along with Brad Ludwig. Anessa Moyens is on assignment. Coming up, NASA comments on anonymous claim that the space agency is about to confirm aliens exist, and group claims to have found an ancient mummified alien. Those stories plus the sighting and our picks and warnings. But before all that, our question. I knew that I would get it sooner or later. All right, let's get into the question. If you had to put together an alien alliance, an alliance of alien races to fight an enemy force, what three would you pick? And they can come from anywhere: movies, TV shows, books, comic books, the aliens that we talk about from real life, anywhere. What three alien races would you choose and why? Brad.
Wow. That's a huge canvas and color palette to choose from. Let's see. I would...
Decisions. Almost too many choices.
Yeah, I wouldn't... If we had the ability to, and it never works out in the movies. It always never works out in the movies. The Xenomorphs would be like great ground force attack group. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you could control them, right?
Yeah, because as soon as they finished wiping out the other guy, they'd turn on you. So that's a maybe. That would be like great, but there's a caveat to that. So that's my number one choice. The second choice, trying to think of, most of the aliens that I can think of in TV and movies are all evil for the most part.
Well, I mean, there's a few good Star Trek races that you could choose from, like the Klingons.
Yeah. Actually, since you brought up Star Trek, to protect us from being attacked from space, having crafts try to make planetfall, having the Tholians put their webs around the planet would be very helpful because they entrap ships very, very soundly. So the Tholians from Star Trek would be my second choice.
Okay.
And let's see. My third choice would be... Oh, man. Would be... I need to look at some...
Looking around.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think of really good ones that I have... usually when it comes to aliens, I probably have some kind of something.
Let me come back to you.
No, actually Wookiees, because they are very technically adept.
And they're pretty good fighters, too.
Yes. They would make excellent ground forces, dependable ground forces.
All right. Let's see. I was going to pick the Wookiee, but that's okay. I'll figure something else out. I'm going to choose Klingons because I think that they're the ultimate warrior. The Klingons, the gray aliens from real life, because they seem to be able to get around pretty easily. And, maybe we'll need them to get information from our enemy.
Sure.
We'll kidnap them, right? And we'll interrogate our enemy, the Greys. They seem to be able to read minds or talk to you. What's that? What's the word when you can talk to somebody
Oh,
through
telepathic.
telepathic? Yep. So Klingons, alien greys. What's a really badass movie alien that I could choose from? Shoot. I'm gonna say Predator. You know what? They're very similar to Klingons, though. You know, they're a warrior race.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I need somebody more, I don't know, intelligent or more logical. Ooh, logical. Vulcans.
Oh, there
So,
you go. Boom.
yeah. Vulcans. I picked two from Star Trek, though.
That should be fine.
Okay. I like Star Trek. Okay, so Klingons, Vulcans, and alien greys. There's my three right there. Bam. Let's go to war. I think we're ready. All right.
Nice.
Hang on one second. I just got a message from Mark Krawczyk, I think. What do you have to say? Okay. All right. I'll ask. I'll get back to him later. All right. Here we go. News time. It's news time. And Brad, you have the first story.
I do. So I was trying to impart to you, Dave, something that I'd come across, gosh, I want to say on Tuesday. And it's a story. Well, it was a teaser trailer for the website Gaia. And they claim to have found an ancient mummified alien. Okay. That's got like it's got a pointy head, and it's got 3 very long fingers and 3 longer toes. But in looking at it, it didn't seem quite legit. So here's a story from the independent.co.uk. A group claims to have found an ancient alien mummified in Peru. Unfortunately, the claim, which the group have invited people to decide on for themselves, doesn't appear to be true. The mummy looks impressive. It has 3 long fingers and toes on each hand and foot, is covered in a white powder, and looks like the extraterrestrials of fiction. But unfortunately, it appears to be fictional itself.
Oh.
Yep. The alien was included in a video posted by the Gaia website and has since spread around the world, with videos being viewed over 1 million times. It shows apparent experts talking about the find and suggesting that it might be out of this world, as well as extensive looks at the alien itself. A new anomalous discovery has been unearthed in Peru, reads the description of the introductory video, which has been viewed more than 1 million times. Join Gaia's ongoing investigation and decide for yourself if this is proof of a non-human species. The videos are thought to have been seen many more times on Gaia's own website, which doesn't make its viewership public. But unfortunately, people have decided for themselves that it probably isn't proof of a non-human species, and in fact is probably a hoax. The first clue is the look of the mummy itself. If it were truly ancient, it's hard to imagine how it could be so well preserved, and the white look of the alien appears uncannily like a plaster cast.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, that is just the beginning of the concerns, as IFL Science points out.
Guys.
Yep. The video includes experts who don't actually appear to be affiliated with the institutions claimed, and who make comments about DNA that don't appear to withstand scrutiny. The experts claim that they have been able to identify the alien having a missing chromosome, for example. But if they had been able to extract DNA, it seems clear they would be able to check that check that it is an alien. Those behind the reveal of the mummy have been involved with similar stunts before.
Okay.
In 2015, 2 of them claimed to have come across a mummified alien body, but in fact was a real mummified human child. The guy, a little creepy. The Gaia website normally charges people to watch its content, and that appears to be the motivation behind making the video. It charges as much as $9.95 per month to get access, for which people will get 300,000 minutes of videos in return.
My God.
Yeah.
These guys are pretty low life, if you ask me. $9.95. Okay, who's gonna watch 300,000 minutes of videos?
I don't know.
That's like how much time is 300,000 minutes? What would that be in days? Okay, let's not go down that road.
Yeah, that's I if you were perhaps if you had maybe 3 weeks of vacation to spend and you had $10 burning a hole in your pocket, perhaps you could get through it in 3 weeks time.
And really into fake staged alien stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of the stinker about the whole thing.
These guys aren't the ones that claim to have that. Remember that little small alien guy? Trying to remember exactly the details on that. It turned out it wasn't an alien, but it was like a little guy. He was like almost
Oh yeah, the ones that were supposed to be like driving people. They had like they were buried in a shoebox. One of them, one of the stories, and then there was another story where supposedly they were inside of people's heads, and I don't know. It was just crazy.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't the same people, was it?
I'm not sure. That is a very, very good question.
It seems about their style. It looks it's got the same feeling to it, if you ask me. Anyways,
I would agree.
Fake news?
I know, I do too. It makes me a little it makes me want to throw up in my mouth just a little.
I just hate that we have to deal with the stories that people are trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to okay,
bilk people?
Bilk. Yes. Bilk is a great word. I love bilk. Bilk.
It's one of my faves.
Because obviously they're faking it up to get more subscribers on their website, right? That's got to be the motivation behind this.
Yep.
$9.95 a month. You're not getting my $10, that's for sure.
No, sir.
Of course, it would be $15 for me because of the stupid exchange rate.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, let's talk. Hopefully next time you bring a story to us, Brad, it'll be about something real and not faked.
Hopefully.
All right. I think that you got any more? You got any more thoughts on this? You want to? No,
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. All right. My brain is not working tonight. Long day. I'm gonna blame it.
I was gonna say that's a long day for you.
All right, Brad. Since the last time we got together here on the Alien Invasion, what has been going on? Anything new in your world, in your life that you wanna?
No, I got nothing.
Really? You got nothing?
Just
nothing's going on since the last time we talked.
Anessa Muins and I are now engaged.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay. Got to share with the class how you did it because it's super romantic.
Well, I had kind of I've had my eye on a ring for over a year now, and I finally scraped together enough to purchase it, and then so I've been holding on to the ring secretly for about 2 months.
Describe the ring. Describe it.
The ring is there's a company that they specialize in making sci-fi rings based on properties. So you can get well, in this particular case, it is the Grand Police Box ring. So those of you who are into Doctor Who will kind of catch that reference. So the sides of the ring are laid out in a fashion, and they have basically blue gems on the side that look like the panels of the TARDIS, and then it's got like a kind of a diamond on the side, so it looks like the pull door to open. You know, the little white sign that's on the left side of the TARDIS, and yeah, it's a fancy ring, and Doctor Who is one of the things that Anessa and I felt bonded on early in our relationship. So it was kind of a callback to that. So, and then I proposed to her on top of the Rib Mountain Observation Tower at sunset. So we were up above the trees. You could see for miles, literally, because it was a very clear and beautiful day. And yeah.
Did you get down on one knee?
I did. And when we
pretty easily.
What's that?
Were you able to get back up pretty easily?
Oddly enough, yes. Okay. And I asked her mother's permission like a year ago. So
wow.
It's totally on the level. It's legit.
You are quite the planner, sir, and congratulations from all of us to you guys.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
And I got nothing next to that, so we'll just move on.
Fair enough.
All right. Okay. So wheat. Another fake news here. Here we go. All right. NASA comments on anonymous claim that the space agency is about to confirm aliens exist. Dum, dum, dum. I was really excited to see the story at first when the actual claim that, oh, anonymous, we have information that NASA is going to confirm that aliens exist. And then I started seeing the stories refuting it, and I got sad.
Yep.
Here we go. Lori Cantillo, NASA lead communications specialist, said in a statement to Fox News, while we're excited about the latest findings from NASA's Kepler Space Observatory, there's no pending announcement regarding extraterrestrial life. That's where I got sad. That's the sad part right there. And here's the statement. For years, NASA has expressed interest in searching for signs of life beyond Earth. We have a number of science missions that are moving forward with the goal of seeking signs of past and present life on Mars and ocean worlds in the outer solar system. While we do not yet have answers, we will continue to work to address the fundamental questions, are we alone? It was reported this week that Anonymous had announced, NASA says aliens are coming. However, worse still, it wasn't even a genuine anonymous video. So it's not even the actual group Anonymous. It was instead made by YouTube channel Anonymous Global, which has made itself look like the YouTube account of the genuine hacktivist group Anonymous. The video based its assertion on a recent meeting of the U.S. Science, Space, and Technology Committee. It was there that Professor Thomas Zurbuchen, Associate Administrator for the Science Mission Directorate, said the world was on the verge of making one of the most profound, unprecedented discoveries in history. He was actually referring to the space agency's expectations of finding simple microorganisms of alien life somewhere in the solar system over the next few decades. I think that guy the person that was in your story last episode?
That is a very good question.
Thomas Zurbuchen. Zurbuchen. Because it sounds like the story, because you were talking an astronomer or something saying we're gonna find life within like 10 to 15 years.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We have, when we do these stories, we get a lot of people with very interesting names. So it's kind of hard to keep that straight, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you'd think that name would you'd remember that name.
You'd think.
But a lot has gone on in the last 2 weeks, so I wouldn't. We get busy in life, and you forget things that you did.
Absolutely.
So,
and I'm getting older, so that happens.
So, what a letdown! I'm like, when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, anonymous. They actually know things, right? Like, oh, this could be real. My hopes got up for a second, and then they were dashed, and I was sad.
Wah, wah.
But it is still exciting to talk about the possibility of finding microbial life here very soon. And I'm going to stick with my estimate of 5 years from the last time we talked about it. I said, no, not 10 to 15. I'm going to say 5. I'm going to stick with that.
Legit.
All right. So, Anonymous, don't do that anymore, okay?
Yeah.
Meanies. All right. Well, Layla's home. I can hear her upstairs. All right. Let's move on, shall we? We're making pretty good time here. Not that we're in a hurry or anything.
No.
All right. Let's move on to sightings. These are things, objects, lights. What else? Objects in the sky, on the ground, wherever. These are objects that people think may be unidentified flying objects that could be, extraterrestrial spacecrafts. We talk about these reports every week, and Brad has this week's report.
I do. And again, my pick is from MUFON.
Mutual UFO Network.
Correct. Now, in this particular report, we have a disc that's split in two.
Ooh, that's a
yeah. Over rural South Dakota. In South Dakota, a witness at Dupree reported watching a disc-shaped object with a single light source that split into two objects and moved away. This is according to case number 84235 from the Mutual UFO Network, or MUFON. The witness was driving home from Rapid City to Wakpala. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Along Highway 65, about 2 miles north of Highway 212, at 3:30 a.m. on May 29th of 2017, when the event occurred. The witness is quoted as saying, "I noticed the object on my left and thought it was a plane. It appeared as a white circle, but I noticed it had only one light source, not like a plane with many lights. First instance appeared to be a plane, but it became obvious it wasn't a plane. Jets do not go that way. Small planes do not fly that high. The first thing we generally notice with planes is that their flashing lights. This did not have flashing lights."
Ooh.
Yes. So, unfortunately, MUFON, unfortunately for us, you need an account with MUFON to get more of the details from their database.
But I bet they're not going to charge you $9.95 a month.
Well, I don't know. Let's take a
Yeah,
look at this.
let's find out. Let's do
Uh,
some research in real
let's
time.
Yep, we're gonna do a store search. Oh wait, hang on, join. There it is. I'm gonna do the basic level, which is it's $5.89 a month.
Oh. Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep, but you get a membership card, you get a monthly e-journal, you get regular email updates. Huh? Yeah.
This is for serious people, like people that are really interested in UFOs. That'd be the thing for them.
Yep, and it's a bit cheaper if you decide to pay for the entire year. It's just
Yep.
under $60 for a year-long membership at the basic level.
Well, at least it's cheaper than the other website that we were talking about earlier.
That's very true. And MUFON has been around for a very long time, so I'm sure that they have a great deal more content available.
In the words, and also in the words of Brad Ludwig, they're legit.
They are legit.
Yeah. I'm guessing that there's a lot of UFO sightings out in western South Dakota because there's not a whole lot of things to get in the way. Like it's pretty flat out there. Well, no, very western South Dakota. They have the Black Hills. There's mountains out there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But like right before you get to that point, it's pretty flat still. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for that, Brad. And like I said last time on last week's episode, if you have a sighting, we would love to hear about it. You can send it to contact@gncasts.com. I always feel like I'm a World War I biplane pilot.
Contact.
At Gmail, or no, contact@gncasts.com. You can also send it to us on Twitter @GalacticNetcast, or join our Facebook group and share that with us there. We've talked about a couple of sightings from listeners before, and if you have one yourself, let us know and we'll include it in the sightings section. That would be awesome. Okay. Fantastic. All right, let's talk about our partners here. This week, we welcome Growly Bear and Brian Jensen as official partners of the Galactic Network. They went to gncasts.com/support and clicked on the Patreon link. If you'd like to do the same, become a partner as Growly Bear and Brian did at the $1, $3, $5, or $15 level. As a partner, one of the things that you can do is submit a story to any of our podcasts, like we got this week by a partner. And here's the headline: a proposed new branch of the U.S. military would protect Americans from space threats. A Space Force or Space Corps. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Here's the story. Legislation has been drafted by the House Armed Services Committee to form the Space Corps, a new branch of the U.S. military that would come under the command of the Air Force and deal with threats to American national security occurring outside of Earth's atmosphere. Now, the question that I have is, if you're going to be a force to protect from things coming out from outside the atmosphere, wouldn't you be protecting more than just American interests at that point?
Yeah, I would say so.
But I guess the U.S. is kind of like all over the world anyways, right? I mean, they play fast and loose with the borders these days. Representative Jim Cooper, Democrat from Tennessee, and Mike Rogers, not the NSA guy, different Mike Rogers, who is a Republican from Alabama, said in a statement that they were convinced that the Department of Defense is unable to take the measures necessary to address these challenges effectively and decisively or even recognize the nature and scale of its problems. So they're critics. The Air Force currently has its own Space Command wing, but should the new legislation become law, it would require the creation of the Space Corps as a separate military service responsible for national security, space programs for which the Air Force is today responsible. Said Space Corps would not. Okay, said. Hang on one second. Oh, said Space Corps would not. Hang on. Said Space Corps would no doubt carry on some of the secretive projects that the Air Force Command is currently undertaking in the upper reaches of our atmosphere, but could also theoretically be called upon to defend Earth against extraterrestrial threats one day. So this is interesting. Like to think that we're at a point where we may have to defend ourselves from extraterrestrial threats, like creating a new branch of the military to deal with this kind of stuff is pretty mind-boggling when you think about it.
Yeah. Huh.
Thoughts? Feelings?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I like the idea of, but I'm not sure how well it's going to be executed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Looking at the budget, at least that we've seen so far, I'm not convinced that they would be able to. I don't know.
But maybe you take some of that money from the Air Force that they're using for their upper atmosphere projects and missions, and divert it into this new branch of the armed forces.
Yeah. I logistically, I could see a number of countries having a problem with that, but if they're doing the same, if some of the larger countries like China and Russia, India, maybe they're working on something similar that we haven't seen anything on. So who knows? It would be interesting. I'm not sure what its full purpose would be.
Come on, Brad, to protect us from extraterrestrial threats.
Well, I think they would also have to be called upon if we had like a meteorite or something else coming to to strike the Earth. I don't know.
So maybe we do need something, because that legitimately could happen someday.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I just feel like with this 3-paragraph thing, we need more details, I think, and it would be interesting to see how this story progresses.
Well, the Air Force does already do a lot of like upper atmosphere stuff. They've got that space plane that's been up there for years. I don't know if it's been up there for years, but it's been orbiting the Earth for a while now. Nobody knows what it's doing. They don't know the real mission. Why?
Just flying around.
Yeah. And it's also interesting that it would take away something from a branch of the military that used to be a branch of the Army, because it used to be the Army Air Corps, and then that transitioned to its own branch into the Air Force. So something that the Air Force is doing may branch off into a new branch.
Yeah, that's possible. Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Army begat Air Force begat Space Corps.
Another glorious day in the Corps.
All right. That's good enough. That was our best discussion all episode right there. More stuff like that. Good stories like that. All right. Let's do the picks and warnings. Picks and warnings. These are things that we have read, listened to, watched. I was missing an E and D. Played, made, all somehow related to extraterrestrials and aliens. And I'm going to go first this week. My pick is an episode of the TV show, of the animated TV show from the 1970s called Battle of the Planets. You ever heard of Battle of the Planets, Brad?
I have.
Really?
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay.
Isn't that what, when it came to, is that what became G-Force?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So it's I watched episode 1 called Attack of the Space Terrapin, which is free on YouTube. You can find a few episodes on YouTube. It's an American adaptation of the 1972 Japanese anime series
Yeah.
Science Ninja Team Gatchaman. Is that Gatchaman? Gatchaman.
We'll go with that.
Okay. Science Ninja Team Gatchaman. In this first episode from September 1978, the series introduces us to G-Force. Oh, I think Siri just turned on. I wasn't talking to you. Oh, I said series. That's why. Okay.
Oh, sure.
G-Force. 5 orphans enlisted to defend the Earth against enemies from the hostile world of Spectra. The first attack comes in the form of the Space Terrapin, a giant turtle-like machine heavily armed and able to crush Earth's air and sea defenses. G-Force is called in to deal with it as the sinister Zoltar and the Terrapin's CO, Commander Gorak, attack Earth's shipping lanes and try to steal a substance known as Vitalumin. When G-Force members steal aboard the Terrapin, they find themselves in trouble when they're cornered by Spectran soldiers. Now, this is a great show because, especially this episode, because there's a robot that kind of narrates the whole thing, right? And the way they introduce the characters is by this robot explaining what's going on. It reminded me of the snowman from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He kind of explained what was going on and explained this character, what he was doing, and why he described the characteristics of each person, like each character had a different personality. There was, and the one character I thought was the funniest was this human that they made. They basically through genetic material they created this human. So he didn't grow up as a normal boy, and thus he had a weird way of communicating. Use English words once in a while, but then throw in all these like nonsensical words. It was you gotta watch it. It's so funny. You'll be laughing your butt off. This is one of those series where they took something that the Japanese had and kind of retooled it the way they did with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and a bunch of other shows, where they took footage from these Japanese shows and kind of retooled them and made it into something American or something for the English language countries.
Sure. Huh.
But yeah, check it out. It's what became G-Force, but it's Battle of the Planets, Attack of the Space Terrapin. And one more thing before we move on. It's so funny how at the very beginning of the episode, they were all on different vehicles in different places in the world, and they all came into this ship in different ways. Like there's like a crane picked up one of them, and then somebody else was flying, and it docked with this ship. And then once the crewmen, all the G-Force got docked with this small ship, the small ship docked with a larger ship. So there's a lot of moving parts going on. I'm like, I don't know. That seems kind of flimsy if you have that many things clamped on. You know, you hit a bump or you get hit by enemy forces and something's going to get broken loose on that ship.
Sure.
But I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 flying saucers for Battle of the Planets. And we'll put the link in the show notes. You can watch the episode for free on YouTube. It's great. All right, Brad, what do you got for your pick and or warning?
Well, my pick this week is in something that you and I have discussed. We have a mutual interest in golden age and classic radio programming. And one show in particular that I think we've talked about in the past is Dimension X.
Yes.
So for those of you who don't are not initiated to Dimension X, it was, gosh, it was like the Twilight Zone, for lack of a better. I think that's the best way to describe it. They were science fiction based stories that had some kind of twist, or it was an imagining of what the future might be like. Or just a slight change in a contemporary setting of the day to have something, usually something horrible happens in these little radio plays, and
the most modern equivalent would be Black Mirror on
sure.
Netflix, right?
Yeah. Yep. And one in particular stood out to me because I seem to recall, I don't know if it was CBS or ABC, did an actual, I can't remember if it was a 2 or 3 night event of this particular, essentially it was this story. And the story is written by, I want to say it's Bradbury. I need to make sure that that's right.
It sounds like a Bradbury title for some reason. It just has that vibe.
Yeah, it's from a short story from Ray Bradbury called Mars is Heaven. And it was originally published in 1948, but it was aired, according to this, it was aired January 7th of 1951. And this story is very interesting. I believe, I want to say that the year is 1987.
In the future.
In the future. And this is one of the trips to Mars. And they had planned multiple runs to Mars. Now, they were fairly certain that there was life on Mars, like intelligent life, but they were, going there to kind of assess what's going on there and, explore and most likely conquer. What's interesting about this is when the rocket lands, there's like a heavy fog, and they can't really see anything. And when they step down on the planet, they realize that there's breathable atmosphere, which, that's interesting. And as the fog is slowly clearing, they start to make out buildings, like Earth-type buildings.
Whoa.
And they come to find that, and like in the title here, because I'm not really giving anything away, a lot of these, I'm going to say a lot of them because there's one person in particular that doesn't, but a lot of them find relatives who have been deceased. So it's like they died on Earth and somehow appeared on Mars. And, everybody's so happy to see, their grandparents again, or their parents again, or, so on and so forth, people that they that they loved long ago who are no longer with them. And then things start to get weird.
I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be all sunshine and roses.
Yes. And yeah, the I really don't want to give anything away. The beauty of this is if you go to archive.org and do a search for Dimension X, you can find, and they're free. You can find, they've got 50 episodes here, at least for this particular one that I found. So it's a grouping of 50 episodes. And just to listen to a 1950s imagining of the future and their dates that they have, which are, you know, like 30 or 40 years ahead to them, but to us, you know, like I said, 1987, people are launching rockets and traveling easily to other planets, and we're still not there yet. So I mean, it's very interesting from that perspective. But yeah, so my pick again is Dimension X, and you can find it on archive.org, and the episode is Mars is Heaven.
If you want to listen to that in podcast form, it's probably available from Relic Radio Sci-Fi. That's a podcast that republishes old radio dramas like Dimension X. So it might be available on that. Just search for Relic Radio. Relic Radio Sci-Fi. So what's your rating on that?
On this particular episode, I'm going to give it 4 flying saucers.
Oh, okay. That's a great rating.
It's I'm only going to say it's slightly predictable only because, and this is probably I wouldn't say it's an original trope, but it's something that's been done before. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's kind of crappy that I'm marking it down for that, but
it's okay. You can rate it however you want.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with a 4. Okay. I'm going to stick with a 4.
All right. So in review, we had Dimension X, Mars is Heaven, and Battle of the Planets, Episode 1, Attack of the Space Terrapin, available on YouTube.
Oh my gosh. Before we close this out, there was a TV series called Ray Bradbury Theater. And July 20th of 1990, it was season 5, episode 1, where they had this. So It wasn't an event thing. It was an actual thing, and you can find that on YouTube too. So
I do remember that show. And all right, cool. Hang on 1 second.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna do a quick. I want to do an ending to our Patreon partner story. Just kind of wrap it up, saying that was from our one of our partners on Patreon.
Sure.
All right. So thanks again to our partner on Patreon who submitted that story about the proposed new branch of the U.S. military, Space Corps, and you can contribute stories by becoming a partner with us by going to gncasts.com/support. All right. Then and then we'll close things out here. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Alien Invasion, a Galactic Network podcast. If you'd like to read more about the stories that we covered on this episode, click the links in the show notes. We'd like to thank Monkey Warhol for providing our intro music, the song Alien Syndrome. Find out more about his stuff and listen to his stuff at soundcloud.com/Monkey Warhol. Also to Retward von Durnberg, a composer from Germany, for our closing song called Be Water. His website is The Caravel, TheCaravel.net, thecaravel.net. And finally, thanks to Ben Olson
Oh, hi, Ben.
For recording our disclaimer audio at the start of the episode, go to benolson.com for more information about him. All right. Final thoughts? Brad, anything?
So now I want to go to YouTube and actually check out the video version of Mars 7.
It might be there.
It most certainly will be interesting to watch, especially now that we have newer technology to do, effects and things like that. It'd be interesting to compare 1990s television to what we're able to do today.
Yeah, 1990s television, still not that good. I'm just saying. Prepare for the worst, but expect the best, or whatever, however that goes. All right. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
All right. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. All right. I want to record a quick Weird World Weekly.
Yeah, sure.
I shared the doc with you. Did you get it?
Maybe.
Hang on. Mark thinks I'm mad at him. Hang on. Oh, I should shut this down. Hang on. All right.